Welcome back to Beckler Guitars and Repair, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own wireless pedal rig. So if you're like me, you collect pedals and you don't have a lot of time to try them. I play my guitar a lot on the couch at the end of the day, so when we're like winding down after the kids are in bed or we're watching a show, I just like to pop in some headphones and plug into my guitar and just kind of veg out and practice. But I always have pedals that I want to try, and in order to try those pedals I got to go to the garage or my band room or wherever else and plug in my tube amp, and it's a whole thing. I'd like something a little bit more convenient and easy just to try out these pedals. So yeah, I like to collect pedals, and one of the biggest problems I have is I don't have a lot of time to try them all out properly. So I don't know how many times this has happened to you, but to me, I buy a new pedal and I tried it out a couple times. I don't really put enough time into it. I don't really find that it's for me. I end up selling it, and then I see a video on the internet a day after I sell it showing me how to get an amazing sound out of that pedal, and then all of a sudden that pedal jumps in price and I can't get it anymore and I'm bummed out. So I just wanted to find a way to get more time in with these pedals whenever I can, to really get to know, the ins and outs, and I can decide whether or not they are for me, if I want to keep them or if I want to sell them. So I found a way wirelessly to be able to try out these pedals wherever you want to be, portably. You can do it traveling or on the couch at nighttime or wherever you want. This thing's totally portable, and it provides an accurate amp sound as well. So let me just go through the steps of what you're going to need. I'm going to provide links in the description for every piece that I'm using today so you can recreate this on your own. So first, you're going to need a pedal. Obviously, any pedal will do. It's got to be a 9-volt pedal for this to work. There are some 18-volt pedals, and I'm currently working on a way to make that work. But for today's purposes, we're only going to be using with 9-volt pedals. All right, the second thing you're going to need is a way to wirelessly power your pedal. So the quickest, easiest, cheapest way I found was this. It's basically just a little 9-volt plug. So this part plugs into the battery and this part plugs into the pedal. You can get these on Amazon. Again, the link will be in the description. They're cheap. You can get 4 for like $20 or something. And this just allows you to power any 9-volt pedal portably. So yeah, there you go. Alright, so the name of the video is Totally Wireless. So obviously you're going to need some sort of wireless guitar system. This whole thing works if you want to plug into the pedal with a normal cord too, but we're doing this no wires at all, so you need some sort of guitar wireless transmitting system. I'll provide a link for these, or an equivalent. These were just cheap. These are Donner branded. I got these on Amazon. They work pretty well. You're just looking for something with as low as latency as you can. So in the description for each one of these systems, they'll have a latency. You want to get as low as you can. I think these ones are under 6 milliseconds for latency. So something like that, or even better, would be optimal for this, because the biggest thing for this is we're trying to get the lowest amount of latency as possible. So this whole thing would work just plugged into a headphone transmitter, but what I found is you just do not get the volume that you need if you do it that way. So you need some sort of amplifier to the signal for most traditional wireless headphones. So what I like to use is the Vox AC30 headphone amp. So these things are relatively inexpensive. I got mine on Amazon as well. I'll provide a link in the description. I think they're around $60. And then this thing by itself is actually pretty cool. You can just plug this into your guitar just by itself and then plug your headphones into it, wired headphones, and it's like a little Vox AC30 amp. It's got different effects, different gain stages. You can adjust your gain, your volume, and your tone. So this by itself is a cool piece of gear. But for this video, we're going to be using it as an amplifier. All right, the next thing we're going to need is some sort of transmitter. So this is a Bluetooth transmitter. It's rechargeable with USB-C. I got it on Amazon it's fairly inexpensive. I'll provide the link in the description. One thing that you need to have when you're picking out your transmitter, your Bluetooth transmitter, is it needs to have, it's called Aptx low latency support. So that just means it's going to be the lowest latency possible for this whole unit. That's the name of the game here. We're trying to get our latency down as much as possible. And if it's high latency, what'll happen is you're playing the guitar, but you'll hear the note delayed in your headphones. Like you'll play it, and then there'll be a little bit of a delay before you hear it, and that kind of messes up your playing a little bit. So especially if you're doing recording or something like that. So we want the latency as low as possible. So you need to find a Bluetooth transmitter that has the Aptx low latency support. Again, I will link this specific one in the description. And the last thing we need is a set of Bluetooth headphones. So these are totally wireless, they're Bluetooth, but just like the transmitter, these are going to be the receiver. So these need to have the same thing that I mentioned before, the Aptx low latency support. And then that's going to work with the transmitter to get the lowest latency possible. So yeah, this is basically it. I'm going to plug everything in and show the order of how to hook it up. Alright, so obviously just plug in your power supply to your pedal. Make sure it works. Some pedals don't work unless you have the guitar plugged in, so just keep that in mind. Next, we're going to turn on our wireless system. So that is the transmitter, this is the receiver. So the receiver is going to go into the input of your pedal. And then we're going to use our headphone amplifier. We're going to turn that on. So there we go. And then that's going to go into the output of your pedal. And then we're going to plug in our Bluetooth transmitter into the headphone amplifier. One thing to note is some of these transmitters are also receivers, so you got to make sure you're in transmitting mode when you're plugged in this way. So I'm just going to plug that into the headphone jack of the AC30 headphone amp, and I'm going to turn that on. Make sure it's in pair mode. And then I'm just going to turn on my headphones and put them in pair mode, and that will pair right to the transmitter. So there we go. Yeah, so these have connected before, so that's connecting. You can hear the sound right there. And then now I just need to plug this into my guitar and I'm good to go. So yeah, here it is. It might look a little bit ridiculous, but it works really well. So yeah, you can use any pedal you want, and there's a very low latency. I'm sure there's some, but it's not really noticeable. And one thing to note is you got to make sure your amp's set pretty flat. So we're using the AC30 as the amp right now, so I've got my gain set all the way down, my tone set, you know, just where it makes sense, and then you can adjust your volume, and the volume is going to be what changes the volume in your headphones, as well as whatever controls you have on your pedal. But yeah, this is actually a pretty cool solution to, you know, having a portable pedal tester or just a pedal practice unit. There's not really anything else like this on the market right now. I'd really love a product that just had everything composed into one product that you could buy, but there's nothing like that out there. So this works really well until someone comes up with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the mic in my headphones so you can hear how it sounds. A few other applications for this, you could take it a little bit further. So I've got two pedals now, so all I needed was a patch cable and another power supply for the other pedal. But now I can link two pedals together and use it wirelessly. Another thing, instead of a Bluetooth headphones, you could pair this transmitter to any sort of Bluetooth speaker. So then you could transform any Bluetooth speaker into you know, a little portable amplifier. One thing you got to remember is that you need to have that Aptx low latency on the Bluetooth speaker as well. Otherwise, you're going to get more latency. But now I'm using a a phaser and a fuzz, so I've always kind of wanted to play around with that, but I don't have much time to do that. But now I can take it with me on the couch and dial in my phaser fuzz sound. Alright, thanks for tuning in to Beckler Guitars and Repair. To make your own rig, all the links to all these products will be in the description. Of course, you can mix and match, but the description links are just exactly what I'm using. Thanks for watching. Yeah, have fun. Get to know your pedals a little bit better. Alright.